Hey, it's Kim. I'm going to do a hip and shoulder opener kind of focused practice today. And whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and start out in child's pose. So forehead resting on your mat, knees together or spread wide, big toes touching. And just taking a moment here to set an intention for your practice. So any time your mind starts to race, just coming back to that intention, coming back to your breath. So spreading your fingers wide, pressing into your palms. Relaxing your forehead on the mat. And just breathing here. So take a big breath in, filling up with air. And then a long exhale out, just letting go. So big breath in, fill up, expand through the ribs and back ribs. And then a long exhale out, just letting go completely. So big breath in, fill up. Long exhale out, let it all go. Maybe gently rolling your forehead from side to side. Just breathing here, focusing on the breath, on your intention. We're going to slowly walk our hands over to the right. So spread your fingertips, press into the palms, and then just crawl them out. Want to get a nice stretch, especially in that left side body. And just continuing to sink your seat back toward your feet. Go ahead and walk your hands back to center. And then we'll walk them over to the left. So spread those fingertips wide. Press into your palms. Crawl those fingertips out, really feeling that nice stretch in that right side body. Oh, we'll go ahead and come back to center. So shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. We'll take a few rounds of our cat-cow. So inhale, crown to the front, tail to the back. Exhale to your cat, round your back, push out all of the air. Inhale to your cow. Exhale to your cat. Inhale to your cow. Exhale to your cat. So just taking a few rounds of each. Moving with your breath. So just warming up that spine. We'll go ahead and come back to our neutral spine, neutral position, and take a few hip rolls to the right. So just getting out any snaps, crackles, and pops. Go ahead and come back to center. We'll take a few hip rolls to the left. Making our way back to center, we'll come into our extended puppy pose. So we'll walk our palms toward the top of our mat. Spread your fingers wide. Relax your chest toward your mat. Reach your tail to the sky. So just breathing here. Maybe feeling that chest expand with your inhales. Go ahead and walk your hands back under your shoulders. We're going to inhale that right arm to the sky and then exhale, thread your needle. So right cheek and shoulder coming to your mat. You can stay right here if that feels good to you. If you want, you can bring that left hand to that right hip pocket. If you want a little more, you can extend that left leg nice and long, pressing into the ball of the foot, just helping to get into that right shoulder. We'll go ahead and make our way back up to our hands and knees. And we'll thread the needle on the other side. So inhale that left arm to the sky. Exhale, thread your needle. So left cheek and shoulder on your mat. So just breathing here. Melting into that shoulder, melting into your mat. Maybe bringing that right hand to that left hip pocket. Maybe extending that right leg nice and long. Pressing into the ball of the foot. And just breathing here, nice deep belly breaths. We'll go ahead and make our way back up to our hands and knees. And I'm going to go ahead and come back to a seated position. So easy seated posture, or bring that right foot to that left hip crease. Go ahead and inhale your arms to the sky. Hook your thumbs, let those elbows fall out. So engage your core. Suck that belly button to your spine. So just breathing here. And open up to cactus arms. So expanding across the chest. And go ahead and release your hands to the top of your legs. So maybe just finding a nice neutral gaze, maybe closing the eyes. Just taking a moment to come back to that intention. Maybe refocusing on the breath. Just noticing anywhere that might be holding on to some tension in the body, anywhere that might be feeling kind of tight. Throughout the practice, just trying to send the breath there. Maybe also noticing those places that feel good. What feels open? Go ahead and inhale your arms to the sky. We're going to twist to the right, so left hand to the outside of that right leg, right hand to the mat, and then maybe gaze toward that right shoulder. So staying nice and grounded into the sits bones, keeping that core engaged. Go ahead and come back to center. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, twist to the left. So right hand to the outside of that left leg. Again, maybe gazing toward that left shoulder. Staying nice and strong through the core. Through the feet, pressing into the mat. We'll go ahead and come back to center. Inhale those arms up again. Hook those thumbs, let those elbows fall out. And then open up to those goalpost arms again. We're going to bring the right arm across the body. You can bring that left arm up, or maybe grabbing onto the shoulder, just getting a nice stretch here. So just breathing in and exhaling out through the nose. Go ahead and switch sides, so left arm across the body. And inhale those arms to the sky. Grab that right wrist with the left hand. Gently pull the arm over. Getting a nice stretch to that side body. Try to peel open that shoulder. And just breathing here. We'll come back to center, interlace the fingers, press the palms up. Nice stretch, rooting into your mat, reaching up toward the sky. And then grab that left wrist, pull it up and over. Peel that shoulder back. Press through those feet and those sits bones. Going to come back to center. You can relax your arms. We'll make our way to our first downward facing dog. So feet about hip width apart. Hands pressing into your mat. So fingers spread wide. Reach your tail to the sky. Press your heels toward your mat and relax your chest toward your thighs. Take a nice deep bend into the right knee. Press that left heel toward the mat. Bend that left knee, press that right heel toward the mat. And then just walk out your dog, bending one knee and then the other. Go ahead and press back to your downward facing dog. Inhale, rise up to the balls of the feet. Exhale, heels toward the mat. So inhale, rise up. Exhale, heels down. One more time. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, heels down. We'll reach that right foot to the sky. Bend your knee, peel open your hip. Go ahead and roll out that ankle. Try to press equally into both palms. We'll reach that right leg to the sky. Go ahead and step through to a low lunge. So keeping the hands on the mat and just pause here. So back leg nice and long. Press into that left hand, reach that right arm to the sky. Back pressing into an imaginary wall. Maybe bringing that right hand to that left hip pocket. Go ahead and release that right hand, drop that left knee, and we'll come into our lizard lunge. So heel toe that right foot toward the outer edge of your mat. So toes in or toes out, heel in. And maybe this is enough for you. Maybe staying right here. Maybe lowering down to your elbows. Maybe rocking onto the outer edge of that foot. Or adding some movement. And just breathing here. Just beginning to let any tension just pour out of the hip. Just letting go. Being here. Focusing on the breath. Go ahead and make your way back up onto your hands. We're going to press back to that three-legged dog. So reaching that right leg to the sky. Bend your knee, peel open your hip. Take any movements that feel good to you here. We're going to come into our pigeon on this side. So bring that right knee to that right wrist. So back leg nice and long. We want to have that right thigh try to be lined up parallel to the edge of our mat. And then your knee can be bent into wherever feels good to you. So again, you can stay right here. You can maybe lower down to the elbows. You can stack your fists, bringing your head to the tops of your fists. Or just melting into your mat. If this ever feels like too much, you can come into figure four stretch on your back. Just trying to quiet the mind. Focusing on the breath. Just being here in this present moment. Letting go of anything else. Nice long inhale, filling up. Nice long exhale, letting go. Just melting into your mat, sinking a little bit deeper with each exhale. Go ahead and slowly make our way back up to our hands. We're going to step back to that three-legged dog. So reach that right leg to the sky again. Bend your knee, peel open your hip. And just taking any movements here feel good to you. We'll release right foot to meet left. So reach that left leg to the sky, bend your knee, peel open your hip. So maybe rolling out that ankle. Try to keep that chest and shoulders square to the top of your mat. We'll reach that left leg to the sky. We'll step through to a lunge. So back leg nice and long, keep those hands planted on your mat. Left knee over that left ankle. We're going to plant that right hand, reach that left arm to the sky. So pressing into the ball of that back foot. Maybe bringing left hand to that right hip pocket if it feels good to you. Just breathing here. We'll release that left hand, drop the right knee. We're going to make our way into our lizard lunge on the other side. So left toes out, heel in. Back leg nice and long. Again, maybe just staying here. Maybe this feels like enough to you today. Maybe lowering down to the elbows. Or maybe rocking onto the outer edge of that foot. Maybe just noticing any subtle differences on one side compared to the other. So just checking in with your body. Where might you be holding on to some tension? Where can you let go? Maybe what parts feel good? What feels open? And where can you soften? Can you soften the hands? Can you soften the muscles of the face? Can you breathe just a little bit deeper and let go just a little bit more? We're going to slowly make our way back up onto our hands. We're going to press back to our three-legged dog, so reach that left leg to the sky. Maybe bending your knee, peeling open your hip. Maybe just taking any movements that feel good to you. We'll reach that left leg to the sky and come into our pigeon on this side. So left knee to that left wrist, right leg nice and long behind you. And then again, trying to get this left thigh parallel to the edge of your mat, bending into wherever feels good to you. And just melting into your mat. So just breathing here. If the mind starts to race, just coming back to your intention, coming back to your breath. So inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Maybe thinking let on your inhales and go on your exhales. We'll go ahead and slowly make our way back up to our hands. We're going to step back to our downward facing dog. So maybe reaching that left leg to the sky, taking any movements on this side that feel good to you. We'll release left foot to meet right. We're going to tiptoe toward the top of our mat. So heel toe your feet toward the outer edges. We're going to interlace fingers behind our back. Let those arms fall forward. So let that head and neck hang nice and heavy. And just breathing here. So inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Go ahead and release your hands. We're going to plant that right hand in our mat. Reach that left arm to the sky. Maybe gazing toward that left hand. Maybe bringing left hand to that right hip pocket. And just breathing here. Pulling the head and tail in those opposite directions. You can always have a slight bend in the knees. We'll release that left hand. Reach the right arm to the sky. So pull your head and tail in those opposite directions. Maybe bringing right hand to that left hip pocket. Just breathing here. Inhaling and exhaling. We'll release our hands. Go ahead and heel toe your feet back to about hip width apart. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Go ahead and inhale your arms to the sky. Interlace fingers, press those palms up, root through the feet. So nice full body stretch. I'm going to grab that left wrist, pull over toward the right. Peel that left shoulder open. Just breathing here. I'm going to come back to center, grab that right wrist, pull over toward the left. So rooting through those feet. Peel that right shoulder back, getting a nice stretch on that right side body. Go ahead and come back to center. Inhale your arms to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. We'll step or hop back. Chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale to your downward facing dog. Walk, step, or float to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Go ahead and heel toe your feet toward the outer edges of your mat. I'm going to come into my ragdoll, so grab opposite elbows. Let that head and neck hang nice and heavy. If you want a little bit more restorative pose, you can bend the knees, relax onto the thighs. Take any movements that feel good to you. Try to let go of your head just a little bit more. Trying to relax those shoulders. Just breathing here. Go ahead and plant that right hand into the mat. Reach the left arm to the sky. So press through the palm. Pull the head and tail in those opposite directions. I'm going to release that left hand. Press through the palm. Reach that right arm to the sky. I'm going to release my hands. Take peace fingers around big toes. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. So let that head and neck hang nice and heavy. Breathing here.
Let those elbows fall out to the sides. Again, knowing you can always bend into the knees, relaxing onto the thighs. I'm going to release my hands, turn my heels and toes out. And I'm going to slowly come up to a standing. And I'm going to come down to my goddess pose. So I'm going to tuck my tail, slide down an imaginary wall. Bring hands to the thighs. I'm going to press that right shoulder forward, left shoulder back. And then left shoulder forward, right shoulder back. Go ahead and come back to center, and I'm going to come into goalpost arms. So coming into that goddess pose, sinking down, tucking that tail, protecting my lower back. Breathing here. Go ahead and straighten the legs, reach the arms to the sky. And then I catch my hips, and then a fold forward one more time. So fold forward using the core, can release your hands to the mat, or interlace fingers behind the back and let the arms fall forward. So breathing here, letting any stress, any tension just roll off your neck and back. I'm going to release my hands, bring that right hand to the left foot or left ankle. We're reaching that left arm to the sky. Trying to pull that back nice and flat, just getting a nice stretch here. Again, you can bring that left hand to that right hip pocket if that feels good to you, helping to peel open that left shoulder. And I'm going to switch sides, so I'm going to bring that left hand over to that right ankle, reach that right arm to the sky, pulling that back nice and flat. Maybe bringing right hand to that left hip pocket, trying to peel open that right shoulder. So just breathing here. And go ahead and come back to center. I'm going to walk my hands out to like an extended puppy kind of pose in a forward fold. So I'm just going to relax my chest toward the floor, pull my tail back. Just kind of almost making a little hammock shape with the back. Go ahead and walk your hands back, engage your core, catch your hips, slowly come back up to standing. So I'm going to heel toe or walk those feet back to about hip width apart. Inhale the arms to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Step or hop back, chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale to downward facing dog. So I'm going to take 3 rounds of my Sun A's, moving with my breath. I'm going to walk, step, or float to the top of my mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale your arms to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Step or hop back, chaturanga. Inhale to up. Exhale to down. Walk, step, or float to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale your arms to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Step or hop back, chaturanga. Inhale to up. Exhale to down. So one more round. Walk, step, or float to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale your arms to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Step or hop back, chaturanga. Inhale to up. Exhale to down. So just breathing here. Coming back to your breath. Coming back to your intention. Maybe pedaling out the feet. Maybe swaying into the hips, side to side. Maybe shaking your head, yes or no. So just breathing here. We're going to keep those feet on our two separate planes, two separate running boards. I'm going to step that right foot forward and rise up to my crescent lunge. So back leg nice and long. Right knee over that right ankle. And I'm going to take a gentle twist to the right, so pull those arms in those opposite directions. Maybe releasing that right hand on the back leg, reaching that left arm up to the sky. Always knowing you can drop that left knee or keep hands at heart center. I'm going to go ahead and bring hands to heart center, left elbow to the outside of that right leg. So pressing into the palms. Stacking the wrists, elbows, and shoulders. Maybe opening up to fly. Maybe bringing that right hand to that left hip pocket. I'm going to go ahead and release my hands to my mat. Drop that left knee. Press into my left hand. Reach that right arm to the sky. So either staying here or bringing right hand to that left hip pocket. Nice, deep belly breaths. I'm going to go ahead and release that hand to the inside of my foot. Then I'm going to come back to my lizard lunge. So toes out, heels in, staying here or lowering down. So maybe closing the eyes, maybe adding some of that movement. I'm going to make my way back up onto my hands, onto my foot, and I'm going to shift back to a runner's lunge. So just finding that sweet spot for you, maybe flexing your foot, maybe pointing your foot. Just trying to get a nice deep stretch in the back of that front leg. I'll go ahead and bring my hands forward. And I'm going to make my way into a forward fold. So step left foot up to meet right. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. I'm going to release my hands. Walk those feet out, toes out, heels in, and sink down to a Buddha squat. So hands to heart center. You can stay right here if that feels good to you. You bring right hand to the inside of that right foot. Maybe reaching the left arm to the sky. Maybe taking right hand to that left hip pocket. Or if you want to take the bind, bringing that right hand around the leg. Maybe making a connection with the hands, with a towel or a strap. But trying to peel that left shoulder open. So just breathing here. Just checking in with the breath. If you notice that you're having a hard time breathing, just backing off a little bit. Go ahead and release, and we'll switch sides. So left hand to the inside of that left foot. Reach that right arm to the sky. And then right hand either to that left hip pocket, or if you want to take the bind, reach that left arm around the front of the leg. And then maybe making a connection. And again, just checking in with both sides of your body. Noticing what places feel open. Maybe noticing where you're feeling some tightness. And just trying to send the breath there. We'll go ahead and come back to center. We're going to release our hands, forward fold. So We're going to track those toes forward, palms up, bring toes to meet wrists. So we'll inhale, halfway lift, and then exhale, forward fold. So let that head hang nice and heavy. You can choose to work on flexibility, maybe pulling yourself closer to your legs. Choose to take that restorative pose by bending the knees, relaxing the belly to the thighs. Or maybe just adding a little movement, but trying to let go of the shoulders, trying to let go of the head. Just breathing here. We'll go ahead and release our hands, heel toe those feet to about hip width apart. So we'll inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale your arms to the sky. So I'm going to make a connection overhead, planting the feet. And I'm going to lean over to the right, peeling that left shoulder back. Staying nice and grounded into the feet, engaging my core, protecting my lower back. Go ahead and come back to center. We're going to lean over to the other side. So stay strong into the feet, strong into the core. Peel that right shoulder back. I'm going to come back to center. Go ahead and release your arms by your sides. We're going to take our tree pose on both sides. So I'm going to plant that left foot, bring that right foot to wherever's comfortable, maybe a kickstand, the calf, or the thigh, just avoiding the knee. So press those palms together. Press that foot into your leg. Try to peel open the hip. Engage the core. Root down and rise up. Maybe growing the branches. Maybe finding a neutral gaze. Maybe relaxing those shoulders down your back. And just breathing here. We'll go ahead and release the hands, release the foot. We'll take our tree pose again on the other side. So left foot coming to wherever feels good to you. Press that foot into your thigh. Try to peel that hip open. Rooting down, reaching through the crown. Maybe growing those branches. And just breathing here. Go ahead and release the hands, release the foot. We'll take our tree pose again on the other side, so bring that right foot to wherever feels good to you. You can keep the hands at heart center or grow the branches, or if you want, you can interlace fingers, press the palms down, and then reach those palms to the sky. So really trying to find that stability by pulling your body in those opposite directions. Go ahead and release the hand, release the foot. We'll take our tree one more time on the other side. So left foot to wherever feels good to you. Hands at heart center or growing the branches, or maybe interlacing fingers the opposite way, rooting down and then reaching up. So just breathing here, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Go ahead and release our hands, release that foot, taking any movements that feel good to you. We'll inhale our arms to the sky, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and we'll rinse through step or hop back, chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale to your downward facing dog. So we'll keep those feet on those two separate planes, two separate running boards. Step that left foot forward and rise up to your crescent lunge. So left knee over that left ankle, staying on the ball of that back foot. We'll reach those arms to the sky.
Always knowing that you can modify by releasing that right knee or keeping hands at heart center. We'll twist to the left, so right arm to the front, left arm to the back. Really pulling in those opposite directions. Maybe staying here, maybe releasing that left hand, reaching that right arm to the sky. If it feels okay, you can walk the gaze up toward the sky or the hand. We'll bring our hands to heart center, right elbow to the outside of that left leg. So pressing into the palms, trying to stack the joints, and then maybe opening up to fly. Go ahead and release your hands. We'll drop that right knee. Press into the right hand, reach that left arm to the sky. Staying here, bringing that left hand to that right hip pocket. We'll go ahead and release that left hand, and we're going to come into our lizard lunge again on this side, so toes out, heel in. Maybe staying here, maybe lowering down, maybe adding some movement. And just breathing here. Just opening up that hip. And let any tension just pour out. So letting go, maybe creating some space for something that's new. Make my way back up onto my hands, bring that knee under the ankle, and shift back to that runner's lunge on this side. And again, just finding that sweet spot for you. You can always add that movement, maybe pointing or flexing the foot, maybe adding a little movement side to side. Breathing here. I'm going to go ahead and shift forward and step my right foot up to meet left. So I'm going to inhale, halfway lift, pull that back nice and flat. Exhale, take a nice deep forward fold. Go ahead and inhale, arms to the sky. I'm going to exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, take a nice deep forward fold again. So you can stay right here. If you want to come into a deeper forward fold, you can bring toes to meet wrists. Inhale, halfway lift, and then exhale, forward fold. So you might feel that weight shift just a little bit. Really letting those elbows fall out to the sides. Or you can come into your ragdoll, just trying to let go of the shoulders, the head and neck. Just breathing here. I'm going to go ahead and release my hands, heel toe my feet out, just a little bit wider than hip width apart. And then same thing here, you can either forward fold, take your ragdoll, or interlace fingers and let those arms just fall forward. Breathing here. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Go ahead and release your hands. I'm going to turn my heels and toes out. And I'm going to sink into my Buddha squat. So bringing hands to heart center. Maybe pressing my elbows into my legs. And just breathing here.
So release my hands to my mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale your arms to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Step or hop back, chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale to your downward facing dog. So I'm going to reach that right leg to the sky. Bend my knee, heel, open my hip. Either staying here, or if you want to take flip dog, maybe taking your flip dog. So reaching those hips to the sky. Just breathing here. If you have flip dog, go ahead and make your way back to your three-legged dog. And I'm going to come into my pigeon again on this side. So right knee to that right wrist. Left leg nice and long. So just getting in a nice comfortable spot for you. Maybe lowering down to the elbows. Lowering the hands to stack fists or a pillow. And just breathing here. So just inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Maybe imagining any tension just pouring out like water. If you have the space and you want to take a shoulder stretch in this as well, you can reach the arm to the sky, right arm to the sky, and then thread the needle, releasing your right cheek and shoulder onto your mat. Go ahead and make our way back up onto our hands. We're going to come into our double pigeon, so we're going to swing that left leg around. Trying to keep those legs parallel, those shins parallel, maybe flexing the feet. If this feels like too much, you can just come into a butterfly or an easy seated pose. Maybe walking the hands forward. Just melting into your mat. Trying to let any of those last bits of tension just pour out of the hips. Just breathing here. We'll go ahead and make our way back up. We're going to make our way back to our three-legged dog. So reaching that right leg to the sky. Bend your knee, heel, open your hip. Just take any movements on this side that feel good to you. Or release right foot to meet left. So reach that left leg to the sky. Bend your knee, heel, open your hip. And then either staying here or taking your flip dog, maybe lifting those hips to the sky. You can let that head drop back if that feels okay. Just breathing here. Go ahead and make your way back to your three-legged dog. We're going to come into our pigeon on the other side. So left knee to that left wrist, right leg nice and long behind you. And just lowering down to wherever feels good to you. So So just letting go of any thoughts. Maybe reaching that left arm to the sky, threading the needle, bringing that left cheek and shoulder to your mat. So just breathing here. Make our way back up onto our hands. We're going to come into our double pigeon or butterfly pose or easy seated pose, whatever feels good to you. So stack those shins, maybe flexing those feet. You can sit up nice and tall, or you can fold forward, just trying to keep a nice flat back. So just breathing here. We'll make our way back up to our seated position and make our way back to our three-legged dog. So reaching that left leg to the sky. Just taking any movements that feel good to you. Go ahead and release that left foot to meet right. We're going to tiptoe our feet up toward our hands. Heel toe our feet toward the outer edges of our mat. Just come into our ragdoll one last time. So let that head and neck hang nice and heavy. Go ahead and release your hands. Heel toe your feet back to about hip width apart. Inhale, halfway lift. Pull that back nice and flat. Exhale, deep forward fold. And then inhale your arms to the sky. We'll release our hands by our sides. We're going to bring that right ankle to the top of the left leg. So bring hands to heart center. We're just going to sink down into a chair-like position. Try to get a nice stretch in that hip. We'll come back up to standing. Release the right foot. We'll take it on the other side. So left ankle to the top of that right leg. And then just sink down into that chair-like position. Breathing here. We'll make our way back up. Inhale your arms to the sky. We'll go ahead and release our hands by our sides. We're just going to make our way into a seated position on our mat. So with our legs nice and long in front of us. So inhale your arms to the sky. Exhale, take a nice deep forward fold. So just coming to wherever feels good to you. Maybe flexing the feet. Maybe trying to keep a nice flat back. Just breathing here, trying to feel a nice active stretch in the back of the legs. Maybe trying to come forward a little bit more with each exhale. Or maybe just backing off. We'll come back up to our seated position. We're going to make our way onto our backs. So with our knees bent, feet about hip width apart. We'll bring that right ankle to the top of our left leg. And then hug that left knee into our chest. And again, just maybe pointing or flexing the feet. Maybe subtly trying to pull that right leg away from the body, getting a little deeper into the hip. Or just finding that sweet spot for you. So letting that tension just pour out. Sending the breath there. We'll go ahead and switch sides. So left ankle to the top of that right leg. And then hug the right knee in. So any movements, any adjustments on this side that feel good to you. Breathing here. Maybe coming back to that intention. Maybe coming back.
So go ahead and hug that left knee in. We'll pull it over to the right. So trying to keep a connection with your shoulders to the mat. Maybe gazing toward that left arm. We'll go ahead and come back to center. So we're going to grab that left shin with that left hand and just let that left knee fall out to the left. So just getting a little bit of a different stretch and opening into the hip. I'm going to bend that right leg in, come back to center, extend the left leg nice and long. So bend that right knee in, pull it over to the left, maybe gazing toward the right. Just keeping a connection with those shoulders on the mat. I'm going to come back to center. So grab the right leg with the right hand and then just let that right leg fall over to the right. So keeping a connection with your shoulders to the mat, your hips to the mat. Maybe engaging the core. Go ahead and come back to center. I'm going to come into my happy baby pose. So you can take peace fingers around big toes or grab the outer edges of the feet. Maybe pressing your back into your mat and just gently rocking from side to side. Go ahead and come back to center. I'm going to reach my legs to the sky. Relax my arms by my sides, maybe rolling out my ankles, maybe rolling out my wrists. And just find a moment of stillness. I'm going to curl up into a tight little ball. Give myself a great big hug. So squeeze my fingers, squeeze my toes, squeeze all of the muscles in my face and body. And then just let go. Coming into my final resting position. So just closing my eyes. Just breathing here. Enjoying my last few minutes on my mat at my practice. I'm going to slowly bring my awareness back to my breath and body. So maybe wiggling my fingers, wiggling my toes. Maybe rolling out my wrists and ankles. And then I'm going to slowly roll over onto the right side of my body. So just coming into a fetal position. Just taking a moment to thank myself for coming to my mat, to my practice. And then slowly making your way back up to an easy seated posture. So bringing hands to heart center. The light within me honors the light, love, and peace within you. And together we bow forward and say, Namaste. Yay! Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that your hips and shoulders feel a little bit more open, that you got rid of a little bit of tension, and have an awesome rest of your day. Namaste.